This week in Destiny for May 9th, 2024. Updated lore and boss profile for Oryx the Taken King for Pantheon. More info about the new exotic class items in the final shape, how to acquire them, and what they will offer. The Red Border Weapons Bonanza is here, 0 Hour arrives next week. Destiny 2 expansions and seasons free until June 3rd, and much more. Need a recap of Destiny's entire story up to the final shape? Click at the top right of this video or the description down below, a 6-hour video of Destiny's entire story with timestamps for each season and release. So this week in Destiny first begins with a look at a couple of videos of the new exotic class items. Now each of these are about a minute in length and I'll play them in a little bit, but let's get to the details first. As you can see, you will not only have the new aspects and fragments coming with Prismatic, but you will also get to further expand your options with the new exotic class items. These are very special additions to Destiny 2 as each exotic class item will have 2 random exotic perks from a selection of existing exotic armor perks, including some that belong to classes other than yours. Here's how you earn them. The exotic class item will be a part of a new activity that unlocks after the raid's World's First at the beginning of week 2. They don't want to spoil what the activity is and what it's all about, but they can say it's farmable, and you will get a guaranteed random roll each time you complete it. So it looks like you'll get Prismatic throughout the campaign and then this class item after the raid. Similar to how Prismatic has a selection of abilities among all light and darkness classes, the exotic class items in the final shape will have a mix of exotic armor perks available for each class. They included some fan favorites as well as some perks that aligned with the Prismatic abilities and aspects. They also chose to put perks in each column that would compound with each other, allowing for combinations that felt powerful and complementary, such as a Warlock bond with Spirit of Apotheosis and Spirit of the Star Eater. Prismatic is all about combining effects that used to belong to specific subclasses, and they wanted to bring that to the design of the exotic class items too. So in many cases, they've adjusted the perks to work with a broader array of abilities. For example, Spirit of Caliban on the Hunter Cloak works with all powered melees, not just Proximity Knife. To keep things balanced, they've narrowed some of the perk effects to what the original exotic was. This allows the combination of the two of them to not be overwhelming, and it maintains a reason to run the original exotic armor. When a perk on the class item has the same effect as the original version, you should expect some tuning changes. For example, in the final shape, the original Armamentarium and 6 Coyote will gain the ability to create orbs of light from your grenade and dodge respectively. Here's all the possible combos for each class. All of these exotic class item perks will only work when you have Prismatic subclass equipped. Bungie knew they couldn't fit everyone's favorite perks into these without making the pools of available roles too large. However, they're also making a set of exotic armor balance adjustments with the launch of the final shape, including some buffs that will impact both the original armor and its spirit version. So some of the class item perk combinations might end up being better than you expected. They'll have more to share about that in the coming weeks. Last week, Bungie introduced some lore into the weekly post that talked about the Pantheon raid bosses we had currently. There was 4 of them last week, and this week adds Oryx, so let's talk about some Oryx lore. Classification: Hive God, first navigator and king of the Osmium court, brother to Savathun and Xivu Arath, father to Crota, ex-Krill, Taken wielder. Hazards include the power to take, Willbreaker Blade of Oryx, commands Hive and Taken legions. Planar Tearing, Corrupted Light, Darkness Mastery, Godly Strength and Durability. Guardians rated Sigma 3 or lower are advised not to engage. Intel: Oryx was once known as Arash, one of the 3 sisters of Krill nobility. She became Oryx upon descending into the deep, accepting a worm and choosing to shed her form in favor of a king morph. Oryx then began a crusade of conquest and death across the universe in pursuit of the final shape. After invading Sol to seek vengeance for the death of his son, Crota, and winning a decisive victory at the Battle of Saturn, Oryx was dethroned by a valiant fire team who infiltrated the Dreadnought and ended the Taken King. Many Hive still tithe to Oryx in secret, though it is not known where the power of their tithes goes, given that the Taken King is dead. After his defeat, Oryx's corpse fell to Titan, where the Lucent Hive attempted to resurrect him through the heretical use of necromancy, a crime for which Oryx once banished another one of his sons, Nokris. The scheme was foiled by Guardian operatives. Of note, Oryx slew Akka, the Worm of Secrets, and carved the Dreadnought from its corpse. Hidden operatives report faint biosignatures still pulsing from within the ship's hull. Through the use of Willbreaker and the Dreadnought, Oryx may weaponize his throne world, allowing it to spill into the material plane as a wave of destructive power. This weapon claimed the Awoken Fleet during the Battle of Saturn. While imprisoned in the Dreaming City, Savathun once claimed that her brother Oryx was unable to control his curiosity, that his worm intentionally directs it, and that the worm manipulates Oryx's actions unbeknownst to him. She claims all hive worms function this way. The veracity of this claim is unconfirmed. And lastly, Erismorn used Oryx's ravenous heart to construct the exotic weapon Touch of Malice. So some interesting notes there on Oryx. Most of this we already knew, but there is some new small lore tidbits like the worm. We know from the Ghost of the Deep lore that Oryx's worm could still be out there, so is this hinting towards that possibility? Next up, deep sight weapons. You can get them daily. Every day from May 7th through June 3rd, players will get a guaranteed deep sight weapon drop upon completion of a seasonal activity. So if you still are looking for some of those patterns, you'll be able to get them daily now. Here's the activities you can get those rewards from. The second ever Destiny 2 Secret Exotic mission is coming back on May 14th. You'll be able to find it in the Into the Light node in the Director, and it has a few surprises up its sleeve. Those capable of completing it before time runs out, 40 minutes on normal and 20 minutes on legend, will get the new craftable version of the Outbreak Perfected Exotic Pulse Rifle. As with the Whisper, you can find secret chests within the mission each week to unlock new additional perks for it. Also, in case you missed it, 3 brand new PvP maps are now in the Crucible. There's a dedicated 3v3 playlist with different modes with these maps within them, and the maps are also available in other playlists. I made a video yesterday discussing some of the lore and backstory behind these if you are interested in that. In anticipation of the battle with the Witness, Bungie wants to get everybody ready. Starting May 7th and running through June 3rd, they've launched Destiny 2 Expansion Open Access Period. So during those 28 days, the following contents will be available to all players. The expansion Shadowkeep, Beyond Light, and the Witch Queen, and all 4 seasons from this past year, Defiance, Deep, Witch, and Wish. So if you've never played Destiny before and somehow found this video, or have some friends that want to get into it, now is the time. Some free content to play, daily deep site rewarded weapons. On May 19th, Team Bungie will compete in the Gauntlet, a charity tournament of tabletop games amongst game industry professionals, all in support of their longtime partner, Gamers Engaged. If you like to support, there's different donation emblems you can receive if you do donate certain amounts, and that link can be found in this week's update. And lastly, there's also a pin available for Asian American and Native Hawaiian and Pacific Islander heritage. During the month of May, for each purchase of the Stand with the Asians pin during the month of May, $7 will be donated to ICHS. Here's the emblem, and you can learn more about this in this week's update. Anyway, Guardians, that's all we got for this week's This Week in Destiny. If you'd like to see some more Destiny news, lore, and mysteries just like it, please be sure to subscribe to the channel. I thank you very much for watching, and I'll catch you all in the next video.